I'd like to call this June 13th council meeting to order. Would everybody please rise for a moment of silence? And let's remember Len Snyder, who was the executive director for the Grundy Foundation for many, many years, who passed away last week.
And Anthony Angelo.
And Anthony Angelo, a well-known Bristol Borough resident. Please salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Pezza, Ms. Cullen,
Here.
Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Gorman,
Present.
Ms. Figueroa,
Here.
Mr. Johnson,
Here.
Mr. Catroci,
Present.
Mr. Di Giuseppe.
Here. I know Mr. Pez is at his daughter's kindergarten graduation, or preschool graduation, and Betty has a personal issue that came up. So at this time, we'd like to welcome back the executive director, the current executive director of the Grundy Foundation, to give us an update on academics and the Oversight Committee, Gene Williams. So Gene, welcome back.
Thanks, Council President Di Giuseppe. It's really good to be here. If you don't mind me unmasking at this point.
You look great.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to see
Given
you.
everything that's going on, I'm the lucky person. Thank God for that. And the opportunity to be here just to provide an overview over what's happened the last 2.5 years with the foundation. Joining me this evening, I'll give some really brief overview remarks. Ms. Dana Barber, our director at the library, and Evan Van Shea, who's our 21st Century Learning Center program director with the school district. As Council President Di Giuseppe mentioned, Len Snyder's passing. For those of you who don't know, Len actually hired me some 20 years ago and was a mentor to me. He had spent 22 years as ED and also spent 26 years as a trustee, so combined 50 years more or less with the foundation. And for those of you who don't know, instrumental in a lot of things here in Bristol. The skating rink, BRT, believe it or not. The building there in 1984, that was all Len's doing with trustee support, obviously. The municipal parking lot improvements were all Len's doing, as well as Grundy Tower, in addition to a lot of other things. He'll certainly be missed, not forgotten, and my job is to kind of carry on that legacy. So again, I appreciate what's been said here this evening, and if you would keep Len and his family in your prayers. Wow, it's been a while since I've been here. Challenges, yeah, personally, professionally, and obviously just go through some of them real quickly. COVID, obviously hit everybody, impacted everybody in addition to the foundation. Forced closure because of COVID. Construction, yeah, we're doing construction, a lot of it, you've seen it on Radcliffe Street. We've had some issues there, building issues. That has caused additional closure. And of course, the economy. We're basically based on the market of our assets. And as the economy hasn't done well, basically our assets are, sort of at risk, if you will. However, we're in good shape financially. None of the things we have on the drawing board are affected other than the time frame. A couple years back, we had said we could do what we want to do in 3 to 5 years. Obviously, the economy and everything else that's going on, that has now become a 5 to 7 year window. So just stay tuned, and again, I appreciate everyone's patience with what we're trying to do. We've had challenges, but I think we've been resilient too. Our museum, for instance, we reopened brand new a year in May. If you've noticed the construction on Radcliffe Street, on the Coach House, will be an event center. We're really welcoming that opportunity to showcase the museum when that comes on board. There is a lot of construction going on currently, both Radcliffe Street side, and if you take a walk down to the Riverside, We have these new tiered gardens, we're calling it River Park. It's spectacular. This is only in the initial phase. What do you see when it's all lush with vegetation, flowers? It's going to be really, it can be, you don't want to miss that opportunity. It's going to be a real draw for us and the borough. I just ask that you keep the museum, Facebook, Instagram pages handy, in addition to our website. A lot of stuff happening on the museum side. As far as what the foundation's done, we have 3 priorities grant-wise. We do arts, and specifically the theater. We also do what's known as basic services, and there's some organizations here locally that we look at annually. Police, fire, those people dealing with the needy. Those are just some of the organizations that we do sponsor. And I just want to note that, and again, it's been a while since I've been here, but in 2020, in the throes of the pandemic, we were able to raise $16,000 from the community. In addition to what the foundation put together, which was $31,000, we had $47,000 that we paid restaurants to help feed the needy. So at the time, the idea was that we would put money in restaurateurs' hands. They needed the business, and they in turn then helped groups that were food insecure. So I think it was a great program. It helped the businesses, helped our community, so it was a win-win for everybody. And again, we can continue to do that. The outreach this year is $125,000 to, again, fire, police, local organizations here in town. And one of the things that we are passionate about, and aside from the arts and the basic services, is education. We name a scholarship in Len Snyder's honor. Now will be his memory each year to the school district, $10,000 scholarship. One of the things I'm very proud of too is AOC, the Academic Oversight Committee. This is something we started 14 years ago, believe it or not. We spent a lot of time trying to educate, promote education here in the borough. What we've been able to do is partner with the school district and Ivan's House out of Morrisville for a 21st Century Grant. The 21st Century Grant is a federal grant. It's owned by the district. We have no say over how the district parcels that money out. Ivan's House is the 21st Century Administrator, and with me tonight is Evan Van Shea. He's the Program Director. And what AOC does, it's mandated by the grant. We support the effort with fundraising. So we provide things that the grant can't do. For instance, food, transportation, equipment, field trips. So that's what AOC does. And we've been doing that steadfastly for 14 years. And it's going well. So we partner with the school district and 21st Century through Ivan's House. What we do is we have a mantra of what we see, what we envision. We can't do everything. What we want to do, though, is provide opportunities that our kids just don't have, and frankly, I think are unequaled in the county. We can do things because, again, we're private. We have funding through the foundation and through other sources that we can provide the opportunities that kids to really make education, something to behold here in the borough. So we can't do anything necessarily in school. That's the school district's then. We're not looking to take over what the school district does. But we want to augment that, supplement that, enhance that. And I think that's what we do with 21st Century. So the things we look at mantra-wise are challenging academics, healthy, engaged, safe, and supported. Those are the 5 areas that if we can say at the end of a 12-year period from kids early on through graduation, have been challenged academically, they're healthy, that's both physically and mentally, they're engaged in the community, they're safe, and they're supported by professionals. I think it says a lot for what we're trying to do as a community to help our kids. And in the summer camps we've held for the last 10 years at least. Last year, 2021, AOC purchased a math curriculum for grades 1 through 6. We also had bus transportation and T-shirts that we supplied. And thanks to council last year, we purchased science experiments for our kids, woodworking for our kids, field trip, picnic provisions, and a Silver Lake Nature Center field trip. So that support by council was just so, impactful for what we're trying to do to give the kids the academics that they need, but also those opportunities outside the classroom to really excel and have fun. So I appreciate council's support with that last year. With that, we have an annual fundraiser the AOC does. It's called Jazz on a River. And I'm proud to say and happy to say we're sold out this year. So the event is Wednesday, the 22nd, week or so. It's a sellout, as I said. It's 100% of the proceeds go to our kids at both the district public and elementary school and the parochial school, St. Mark. So we're covering everybody. We also deal with the child care centers as well. The object is, again, kids here in Bristol who are being educated, we're trying to give them a leg up. So that's what AOC is about. With that being said, I'd like to hand if I may, the presentation over to my library director, I should say our library director, Dana Barber, who's going to fill you in a few things as far as what's happening with the library. And following Dana will be Evan Van Shea. He'll give you an update on 2022 summer camp. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me. I'm Dana Barber. I'm the director of the Grundy Library. I'm excited to share with you a few of our upcoming programs. But before I do, I just want to, on behalf of all the library staff and the library's patrons, thank you for all of your ongoing support of the library's programs in the community. We could not do it without the borough's support and all of our amazing partners that we work with. As Jean mentioned, and as all of you are aware, our building has been closed for an extended period of time, which has most certainly been a challenge. But we have been able to stay open and provide curbside services to the community and access to our collections via curbside. But most of our programming has been virtual up until this point. And we're excited with the warmer weather to change that tide and put more programming in person by being out in the community and doing some new things. So I wanted to share with you a couple of the new things, new programs that we have lined up, and also ask for your continued support and your assistance in helping to spread the word about those programs. So I did have a few slides here of talking about the programs. One is our Adams Hollow Community Garden partnership, which we're very excited about, and that is story times in the garden. We did purchase a bed there, and we're offering some story times for the little ones and their families. We're also doing some gardening programs in partnership with the community garden, and in collaboration with the Penelope Fox Art Studio, we're doing outdoor art programs also at the garden. So that's our garden partnership that we're very excited, and again, that started last week. We had 20 people come out for story times last week, so that was fantastic to see, and we're so excited to reconnect with the community again. The other program that I want to talk about, and I don't know if anyone can advance the slide on that at all. Is that possible? Is there another slide there, or no?
I think it's here.
It's me? I can do that?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was our story walks on Bristol Spurline Trail. In partnership with the borough, we were able to put a story walk up in May. So I don't know if everyone had a chance to see that, but those were all along Bristol Spurline Trail, and basically it's pages of different stories, children's books, posted along the trail, and you can see that there, and families can walk along and read the stories together. So this idea was very successful. I mean, we've got a lot of positive feedback from the families, and we're hopeful that we can continue this program with your support. We'd love to be able to put another one up in June and put a new one up, a new storybook up every month through September. We're figuring that would be like the warmer months. So we're very excited about that, and that helps families just be able to spend time outdoors together, spend time reading together. And if you have any questions about that, please let me know, but I highlighted a few of the storybooks that we have planned that tie in with our Oceans of Possibility summer reading theme. And then the third program I wanted to mention was our pop-up story times at the park. And this is a new idea that we came up with, that we'd like to meet people where they are in the summer months and come out and go to local parks around town and playgrounds so that we can do a little story time with the kids that are there and the families, talk about what the library has to offer and invite people back. All these 3 programs are designed to support growth and development by building literacies in the area of basic literacy, so vocabulary, reading comprehension, counting, some of those basic skills. Health literacy, so the healthy eating with the community garden, exercise and getting outdoors with story walks, and then social literacies, so connecting with others and just kind of building that, the social skills of the kids. So that's a little bit about our upcoming programs. We have things for all ages as well, but I wanted to focus on the children's things that we have coming up. But before I wrap up, I just want to answer the question that's on everybody's mind, and that's when the library is going to reopen the building. And if you didn't see the article in the paper today, the library will be reopening on Saturdays only, beginning this Saturday, June 18th. So yay, we're so excited. So please come out and visit us. As I said, it will be only on Saturdays because we still are undergoing construction. It will be modified library services because not all of our building is ready to be open, so it'll be in a finite space, but you'll have the opportunity to browse our collections again, get on the computers, enjoy free internet and Wi-Fi, and just the beautiful space along the river. And our curbside services will continue as they have been throughout the week when we're not open, and also on Saturdays. That's a service that we plan to continue. So that's one of the positives of COVID, that we were able to start curbside service and continue it. So that's what I had, and I thank you again for all of your support. The Borough Council has been amazing throughout all of this, and we really are grateful, and we look forward to welcoming you back into our building on Saturday.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Good evening. First and foremost, I would like to thank you all for welcoming me back to talk about these wonderful programs that we offer for Bristol Borough students. Like Jean said, my name's Evan Vanchi. I'm the Program Director of 21st Century After School Programs here in Bristol Borough School District. My home office is at Ivans Outreach Center in Morrisville. So I want to give you a little update about our summer planning for 2022. Thankfully, we're no longer mask mandated and we can go back on field trips, so we're full swing on scheduling and we're preparing for an amazing summer for students here in Bristol Borough. So I'd like to start off with our Snyder Gerardi camp and St. Mark's camp. This year, St. Mark's will be joining us at Snyder Gerardi as we did in the past. We like to have that inclusion of 2 different demographics of students, bring them all together so they know who their neighbors are and they all work together on different activities and things like that. So as of right now, we have 150 students registered for the summer camp with a running wait list. We have a mandatory parent meeting this Wednesday. This mandatory parent meeting allows parents to come out and find out all the information that 21st Century offers, our pickup and procedures and things like that. Our summer program runs from June 27th to August 4th. We will run 8 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Students will come in and receive a free breakfast from the Archdiocese of Philadelphia and a free lunch from Archdiocese of Philadelphia. A good thing too, any students in the borough who are not in our summer camp can receive free lunches and free breakfasts. So anytime that a student finds a need of food, they can come to our doors and we can provide them a meal. They can even come in and sit down and eat. So there's always a safe spot for the students of the borough. The students will work on an hour and a half of academics. They'll receive math and ELA. They'll work on their summer enrichment packets, but they'll also be pulled out for small group tutoring by certified and retired teachers. These 2 students were referred this year by their teachers, their homeroom teachers, for academic support reasons. So we're reaching the students that need the additional support. When they're not in the academic section, of course, it's summer camp, so we like to provide a fun and enrichment area. There's 2 choices that a student can choose. They can either be in athletics or they can be in a performing arts section. I would like to announce that this year, we've had a meeting with John Mundy, and he's going to be offering a one-day-a-week track and field program for 2nd through 6th grade. So we're in the planning phases of that, but it seems like it's a great idea. They also are going to be opening up for the Mill Street Run. These students who will be learning how to do the track and field events will be able to run an event free of cost. Moving on to the Bristol junior, senior high school camps. We have a middle school camp starting July 7th. They will run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They'll have 2 hours of academics similar to what Snyder Gerardi is. They'll work on their summer academic packets, reading and math. And then there's a 2-hour recreation period where each week has a different activity, whether it's weightlifting or we bring in an SEL basketball program. So each week is tailored to a different student. So if a student is feeling that they don't want to participate that week, they don't have to. They can look at the schedule, but we welcome them to come all 4 weeks. We have other programs running at the high school as well this summer. We have the summer credit recovery and summer school that run through 21st Century, where we provide certified teachers to help them get those credits that they were not able to achieve during the school year. So it's more structured based, smaller groups. We have the garden club at the high school. We have a weightlifting program that we'll be running. Service learning for students in the high school area who need their service learning hours. We have different opportunities, whether they come down to the elementary school and work with some of our elementary students during my summer camp down there, or garden club and so on. So for some of the goals and plans for this summer, since PVE is allowing us to take outside field trips again, it's actually been really hard to find field trips. A lot of companies that we used in the past are having employee difficulties, staffing. But thankfully, we got on the phone with Pat Mulhern, who's a local here in Bristol Borough. He offered his Driftwood Adventures program, and this is all just planning phases, where he would offer an hour and a half of water safety training, which I think is really a smart idea, living so close to the Delaware River. He said that he would talk over about title changes, how to be safe along the river, life jacket safety, and things like that. And then the students would be able to receive 1 hour of paddleboarding and kayaking at the Falls Township Park. We would like to provide them a snack and lunch at the park as well, just having a nice outside day. And this would be for all grade levels over the summer. We would like to plan another family picnic. As we did in the past, we would go to Cork Creek Park and run a STEM picnic day where the family could come out with their students and we'd grill hot dogs and hamburgers, but they would also interact with certain games that are friendly, family friendly and STEM related, so they have an educational background to it as well. And then like Gene said, the AOC offered to provide camp t-shirts. So that's all I have today. If there's any questions, I would love to answer them.
Sounds like a good program. You guys do an outstanding job, so.
Thank you so much. I take major pride in it. There's so many great kids that are in our program. I wish we could service them all. But, you know, to have kids that don't want to leave our program, it's really heartwarming. So I thank you guys for your additional support, and I thank the AOC as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So since the three of you are here, we would like to present you with a check this evening. So I don't know who wants to come up, or all of you want to come up, or? Dean, you want to come up?
It's free money, huh?
Free money.
You won't even have to tap dance or anything.
Here, someone wants to take this.
I would like to present this check from Bristol Borough for $10,000 to be used in the AOC program for this summer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for all your good work.
So I remember going back, I think, to the first meeting, Gene, that you called to start this program. and you had a small grant, I don't know, for 1 year or 2 years, and everybody said, give it a shot, see what happens, but it's amazing how you personally stuck in there with this program, and year after year after year, Jeff kept pushing ahead, and you deserve a lot of credit. You really do. I'll be honest with you, because you had the foresight to see this program move forward, and I don't think a lot of us thought, where the hell is he going to get this money to, year after year, to keep this going, but you did, and I give you a lot of credit for looking forward and moving.
It's not all me, obviously.
I know, you had a great, there's one of your helpers right there who was just honored.
Yes.
They named the library after you, Mary, so congratulations again on that.
I have to be mindful of...
Amy McIlvain's a big part of this.
She's one of the main factors that were so successful, but Mary's naming of the library, it's not the Grundy Library now, it's the school library at Snyder, Gerardi,
That's right.
So, everybody thinks, Mary is so involved with everything. Oh, of course, the Grundy Library is named in Mary's honor. Yeah, it can be changed, But I'd just like to say thank you very much. Change is not easy. Let's face it, change is not easy. We do what we possibly can to make things happen. And my vision long-term is, it's going to take time. It's getting the right people at the table, and saying, it's not about me, it's about us. It's about our kids. So I appreciate your council's kind of hanging with us these years. We have a successful event planned for next week. Got it rolling. We'll have another event in the fall, and we'll be able to do more for our kids. But again, change is not easy, but I think we're on the uptick, and it's really, as Evan mentioned, it's really, so heartwarming to see kids who really enjoyed some of the things that we're able to do because of your generosity, frankly, and others in the community as well. So, again, Mr. Giuseppe, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
As well.
Thank you.
Can I
I'm glad
say
that
something real quick?
it's-
I just want to say, the King George is phenomenal with Jazz on the River. You said that all the money goes, right, everything that's collected goes to the program. And I think it's important that people know that.
I'm sorry, Lorraine. I was remiss in not saying that, but Robert, Bruce, and Fabian have been phenomenal in putting this event on, again, at no cost to us, the AOC.
And while we're on that subject, they also, with Fish with a Cop, they don't want anybody to know, but I can't take it. I think they should know. They brought food that could have fed an army that day, correct, Joe? Yes. Yeah, so they're very good to this town.
These are the types of partnerships that, we've had to, certainly source, but to engage with people who get it, who understand what it is they were doing. It's about the kids, it's about the borough. It's not about them, but it's about, as I said, the kids. And to work with people like that is just very, I appreciate that very much. So, in the interest of time, thank you again. And again, thank you for the time.
It's great to see you back.
Thank you.
Now we have our partners at Lower Bucks Hospital. Mike, I don't know who's coming up to speak.
Well, President, council, that's tough to follow, so. But at Lower Bucks, right now, we have a cath lab that's going up, brand new Siemens Icono, state-of-the-art. It'll be up in about 2 weeks. And it's a $2.2 million investment. But more importantly here today, I'm here to talk about men, about men's health. So June is Men's Health Month. How many people do that?
I didn't.
No? Lou does. That's because he's on our board. That just isn't that. So in celebration here of men, we do want to make sure we take care of our men. So the important person here is actually Dr. Rita George, and she's going to talk about men.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rita George. I'm a family medicine physician at the Community Health Center at the 3rd floor of Lower Bucks Hospital. So like Mike said, June is Men's Health Month, so the purpose of it is to encourage men to be aware of preventable health diseases and also encourage healthy living habits. So men do have more risk of certain diseases, including diabetes, certain types of cancer like colorectal cancer, and cardiovascular diseases. So this is just an opportunity to remind people to get their regular checkups. We are accepting new patients at the community health center, so if you need a primary care physician, come see us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speak?
No, thank you.
No? Where's your sidekick at?
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
Mike, thanks for coming in. Okay. All participation, anybody want to, on this side of the room, want to say anything? Mark?
Mark Jeswaldi, 1419 Wilson Avenue. Just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this new event. First time in Bristol, I think it's the first time in Pennsylvania, to be honest with you. And give you a little bit of the history how this came about. It's a combined car and boat show, July 9th, down on the river. And rain date is July 10th, Sunday. Back in 2018, how this all came about, it goes back that far. We were trying to get the Gazelle again for Bristol Day, and the boat was under major renovation. So I went online, Googled antique boats, and this Mid-Atlantic Antique Boat Society come up. So they did put a display at Bristol Day, 2018, 2019, 2021. Carmen DeLeo is the guy that represents the society, and he's a great guy. He wanted to be here tonight, but he wound up had to do a funeral down in Cape May. But, so anyway, he called me like right after the first of the year. And he said, I got two things. It's number one, can I do Bristol Day again this year? What's the date? So I gave him the date. It's October 15th. He booked them in. He wanted to commit the dates, so he didn't do anything else. He says, and secondly, he says, we have an annual boat show every year in July. He said, we normally do it up in New York State on one of the lakes. He says, but these guys love Bristol, I'm telling you.
Oh, that's great.
The docks, they come in all year long, a lot of these guys, and they go to the King George and all the restaurants on Mill Street. And so any naysayers on those docks, they're eating crow now, believe me. But anyway, he called me, he said, we'd like to have our boat show there on the river. He says, what do I have to do? So I put him in touch with Mr. Dillon, Lisa, filled out the applications and whatnot. And he says, well, we're at it. So would you entertain doing a car show with us? We'll combine it at the same time. Because a lot of our guys, believe it or not, trail their boats with antique cars and resto mods and stuff. And they don't want to drop the boat and bring the car to the car show, and they don't want to leave either one. So this gives them an opportunity to do both, show their boat and show their car. So anyway, I handed out a flyer to everybody. It has all the information on it. The boats, they can register through their website is on the bottom of the form under the boat side. Any cars can register on our website, BristolDayCarshow.com. And that's about it. It's going to be from 10 to 4. Registration for the cars will begin at 9 down on Mill Street in the parking lot. So they're going to be, supposedly, the boats will be on both docks, under the wharf, and into the parking lot, the ones on trailers, and then the cars will be in the parking lot. That's it. Any questions, or?
Sounds like a nice
No,
event.
that's great.
It'll be a first. We'll see how it goes. I think if it goes over, they're probably going to want to make it an annual, do their show here every year.
Anything we can do, as far as I'm concerned, to promote our town and to bring people in to see what kind of town we really have, I'm 100% behind it. So,
These guys, I'm telling you, they love this town. They call me, like I say, for restaurants or whatever.
right. And thank you, Mark, for all you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Okay, that ends public participation. So, Joe, how you want to handle? You want to bring them up first, or you want us to go through the motion and then?
I could do it all
Okay.
right now.
All right, so number 3 on the agenda.
Okay. Let's, well,
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of part-time police officer Thomas A. Hadgood.
Second by Mrs. Cullen. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So Joe, why don't you bring him up and introduce him to everybody, or however you want to handle it?
Hold on.
So Thomas is a Yardley resident. He graduated from Notre Dame High School. He attended Indiana University and graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminology. He attended the Temple Police Academy and just graduated this past March. Went through the process and went through the Act 57 process with MOPEC, the state police process, and passed. And he is now as of right now, a part-time police officer for here in Bristol Borough.
Thank you.
Welcome.
What's his name? People want to hear it at home. What's his name again?
Thomas Hadgood.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. This is one of the best opportunities I have. I love working with the community. I've never met people that love the police so much here. And it's really helpful to have a community that'll have your back.
Thank you.
It's been a nice
Thank
life
you.
here.
You got a good chief there, let me tell you.
Congratulations.
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 Okay, number 3 on the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve, for the approval of council meeting minutes of May 2nd, 2022, to accept the treasurer's report for April 2022, to accept the inspection report for April and May of 2022, to accept the fire chief's report for April and May of 2022, to accept the public works report for April and May of 2022, to accept the police report for April and May of 2022, and to accept the HARB report for May 2022.
Second by Maria. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5.
Mr. President, I'd like to authorize awarding low bid to T. Schaefer Contractors Incorporated in the amount of $279,500 for the 2021 Bristol Borough Community Development Block Grant Design and Build Handicap Curb Ramp Program in ordinance with the Responsible Contractors Ordinance.
Second by Maria. Questions or comments? I'd like to go to our solicitor for a comment before we vote.
So the borough advertised this contract and received 2 bids within $10,000 of each other. The second bidder filed an objection, and as required by the Responsible Contractor Ordinance, we received information and responses from the 2 contractors. We shared that with each of them, and based upon those documentations and discussions, it's my opinion that T. Schaefer Contractors, Inc. is the lowest responsive and the responsible bidder.
Any questions for our solicitor? So just so you know, this contractor is the lowest bidder. The second guy was higher, and there were some objections filed, but we're going with our solicitor's opinion saying he's not only the low bid, he's also the lowest responsible bidder. So, any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 6.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize adoption of the Bristol Borough Parks and Recreation Program, use of public recreation facilities, and rules for use, application, and agreement.
Second by Ms. Cullen. Questions or comments? I want to thank the committee that worked on this to try to get this done. I know Councilman Pezza put a lot of time and effort into getting this agreement done with Mr. Dillon and our solicitor. So hopefully this will put a lot of things at rest. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion authorizing receiving bids for the milling and overlay of Pond Street from Jefferson Avenue intersection to area of Lincoln Avenue.
Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Figueroa. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize advertising ordinance prohibiting the parking of vehicles used in the operation of a business in the Mill Street parking lot from 10 p.m. through 7 a.m.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 9.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize advertising ordinance prohibiting parking on either side of Old Route 13 from Mill Street to Otter Creek.
Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Figueroa. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 10.
Mr. President, I would like to make a motion to authorize advertising ordinance providing all borough park and open space prioritize are closed to public from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Second by Mr. Gorman. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of a resolution to apply for the Watershed Restoration Protection Program grant in the amount of $167,000 for the Howell Street vegetated swale.
Second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 12.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize BB&T tax appeal settlement subject to the attorney's approval.
Second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to add a motion.
Any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What's the,
Mr. President, I'd like to authorize the approval of development agreement for Island View Phase 1 and Phase 2, subject to the approval of our Borough Manager, Jim Dillon.
do I have a second? Second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, before we adjourn the meeting, I know we all want to thank our councilman, Mr. Brian Johnson, for his hard work and dedication organizing this event today that took place, the first community day in the North Ward. So, Brian, thank you. I don't know if Lorraine, you want to speak on it, or Brian, or whoever.
It's the first community fun day that was sponsored by the school board and council together with our recreation manager, Mike Popolowski. Mr. Johnson, Brian came to us and said he wanted to have this day for the kids of town. And Ralph said, give him the go-ahead. This is a great idea. So he worked so hard, but his wife, Josie, was with him every step of the way. She probably wants to wring his neck right now. But, and we also had school board members there helping. Dave Chick, his wife Laura, Brianna Curran, Steve Cullen, and there was another guy, his name's Aaron Antonelli. He does a lot of work for kids in town. He's a great guy. And my brother-in-law, Fred Cullen, the guy is unbelievable. Right, Brian?
He was
He
with me
did.
from 6 in the morning till like 5.
Yeah, and Pito, and Tommy Cummins, and Jimmy, and Dennis. I mean, they were all amazing. That's a great group that works there at that school. Chief Moores and the police, they gave a face painting, right? You sponsored that, and sand art as well. And Sergeant Chief Moores and Officer Palmer, Havgood, Levitsky, Webb, and Davis were all there today. And the kids were just thrilled to see them. You know, they have really become a part of the kids' lives. And the kids know that they can go to these guys and ask them if they ever need anything, you know. It's just wonderful. They put him in the dunk tank, our chief. And he went down a few times real hard. I saw it. Kelly Rosado and all the teachers were so gracious to us. They all came out and helped out. Well, not all of them, but most of them. So Herb Slack, Merle, 51, the fire station, they were all out there. And there were a lot of kids from the high school. Jasmine, Raji, Michaela, Angelise, Timmy, Jose came in his wheelchair and helped. You know, it was just such a great community day, and I'm so proud of Brian. When we first talked to him about coming on, I knew that he would be a great councilman, but he's a guy for the kids of this town, and it's just so wonderful to see it. And I want to thank him personally for being such a great guy.
Thank you.
And that's it.
So I think what you're seeing a lot more now in the community is partnerships that are being formed. Working with the school board, council working hand in hand with the school board, individual councilmen working with each other. I mean, I think a lot of stuff now is moving in a different direction, in a positive direction, which, you know, for the last, you know, school board, you know, we had our differences, but we put all that aside. Like Lorraine said, you know, the president of the school board, Mr. Ciccoletti, was out there with his wife all day. I mean, they were out there all day in the heat. Brian was out there with his wife. It's becoming a family type thing. Lorraine and her husband was out there. So I give everybody a lot of credit. I stopped by for a few minutes. I couldn't stay. I was tied up on a job. But people want to make things happen in this town. People want to come to this town. And we have good people. I mean, Gene Williams just left. I mean, Mary, you do a lot for this town. So we're very fortunate. But last week, I had an opportunity I said I was down at the river and spent some time behind the King George. And I have heard nothing, Joe, and I want to tell you this, Chief. I was quite just like, your popularity right now is through the roof. And I'll tell you right now.
Negotiate the contract.
You have made a major impact in this town. Everybody is talking. I was on Mill Street the other day and somebody said, you know, your chief was walking down Mill Street, like stopping by, talking to people. You're everywhere. And it's a plus. I mean, I know back when we had issues with Squad 5, you were out there trying to do the right thing. You have taken this job to a whole new level, and we couldn't be more honored to have you in this town right now for what you're doing for all of us to make everybody look good, and the police department's working. No matter where you go, you come into Bristol, there's a car park on Otter Street. You go here, there's a car park near the Amish market. You see cops all over this town. So your men have a lot of respect for you, and this council has a lot of respect for everything you're doing. So on a personal note, I want to personally thank you for everything you're doing right now.
Thank you. And I want to thank all of you guys, because the word is partnership.
That's right.
Can't do it unless we all do it together.
You're
That's the
doing
men
it.
downstairs, you guys.
You're doing it. I can tell you that.
Let's
Well, I
just-
think since you've been in that dunk tank, your popularity's going to go. You had to see Nicholas when we got in the car. He goes, "Oh, Joe just went in the water." He said, I said,
Ryan set me up a couple times.
So before we adjourn, does anybody have anything, Michael, you have anything you want to?
Yes, I just want to make an announcement for the senior center. Sure. If I could. So the senior center, we all know where that's at, 301 Wood Street. This Wednesday, June 15th, they're inviting everyone to come and enjoy the Italian hot dogs. And we all know who's going to make that, Marie Pimentri. She is, if you haven't had it, it's wonderful. So I just wanted to make that announcement. It's Wednesday, June 15th. It begins at 11:30 and it will continue throughout the day. You could eat in or take out. If you have it on a roll, it's $8. If you have it in a container, it's $9. And it's all genuine, homemade, by Marie, and it's to die for. So I just wanted to let everyone know that, okay? Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have it, Maria?
I just want to remind everyone that of the yard sale for the North Ward, June 25th from 8 to 2. Contact me if you are interested, if you live in the North Ward and are interested in participating so that I can include the street in the advertising. So.
And how are they reaching you, Maria?
You can reach me through the borough website or through Facebook, Bristol Helping Neighbors. So.
All right. Anybody else? Joe?
I just have one thing. Last week I wasn't here. I attended and represented Bristol Borough at the Towns Against Graffiti meeting, and they just wanted me to send a message back to the council president, the mayor, Mr. Dillon, and John Miller to thank you for your continued support, and they love working with our town. So
They're a good organization.
they're
And
awesome.
they respond quick to the borough.
They do. They're great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I left something out about the hot dog. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows that you could have pre-orders and you could also prepaid, and you can see Gail at the senior center to do that. Okay? Sorry. Yeah, it's all about the hot dog.
Anybody else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Maria. Meeting adjourned.